Alright, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Flash Jazz Tries to Fix a Machine. I'm going to have to think of a more snappy title for that. But anyway, what we've got here is an XEGS, Atari XEGS that just arrived this morning, fresh out of the box. And a nice letter as well, which I'll just have a look at here. I don't want to give away anybody's personal details, so I'll fold that over. Thank you again for agreeing to look at my Atari XEGS, I greatly appreciate it. After initially contacting you, I found a number of videos that you've posted on YouTube and found them immensely interesting. So this is obviously a very intelligent person with extremely good taste. If you are able to get the XEGS back in order, I would appreciate your suggestions on any upgrades that possibly should be done to keep the machine usable. I like the look of the Ultimate 1 MB. He's really, this man he's a cut above. He's a classy individual, there's no doubt about it. I like the look of the Ultimate 1 MB upgrade, but perhaps this is a conversation about after the initial investigation. Please see above for my address and contact details. Regards, John. Well, thank you very much, John, for sending this machine in. Now, XEGS machines, not my favourite one to work on because my beloved SysCheck board, there's no way to plug it in because this machine doesn't have a PBI connector on it. So these can be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to have to hedge my bets a little bit and assume that this machine has a dead CPU. Now if we move to the other camera, so I've got the 4K monitor now, which I bought on eBay. It's actually second hand, but it's obviously very new. It's in perfect condition. I'm absolutely delighted with that because I've got 4 times the real estate, the desktop real estate of 2 HD monitors. There's my Lenovo PC there that I've been building up since the beginning of the year. It's now got an i7 CPU, 16 gigs of RAM, AMD graphics card, and all solid state storage with a terabyte or more of storage in it. So no nasty clunky drives in it. So that's what I use for everything basically, including recording. Now I've bought this very nice cantilever type, I think that's the word for it, microphone stand here, which is clipped onto the desk. I went through a couple of different methods of trying to clip it to the desk. I actually robbed this idea from Adamant IT. That is a very, very good channel. Graham Hill, I believe. He has a shop in southwest England where he repairs laptops and things like that. I've just run into that channel the other week, and very, very enjoyable, very engrossing material as far as I'm concerned anyway. Very nicely presented. And he has this on his counter. He's got this exact arrangement here with the camera, and I think he's got a Logitech Brio or something, a little bit more fancy than this one. But yes, this gives him the ability to zoom in on stuff. Very versatile. So I'm trying this for the first time today, so please bear with me. So if we get back onto the subject at hand, here's the XEGS. When I turn it on, as you can see, we get a blue screen. So this tells us a few things. This tells us that the video system works. It tells us that Freddy works because there's a clock signal on the system. What appears to be happening is that the OS is just crashing when the machine starts up. Now I can't use SysCheck with this board because there's no PBI bus, which is a bit of a pain, especially when you don't have an oscilloscope. But I will make some educated guesses about what the problem will be when we open the machine up. I think it's going to be a dead CPU or RAM issue. Hopefully not the ROMs, because this uses a different masked ROM to the other XE machines. So, well, I think we should crack the machine open and just have a look. So, yes, we'll get some interesting close-up views of disassembly. Okay, so let's unplug the machine, turn it off, get the screwdriver and take it apart. There's quite a lot of shielding to take off this machine. They are heavily shielded. Now I've got a couple of spare XEGS machines here, which will probably be invaluable when it comes to trying to troubleshoot what's wrong with this one. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up diving into the cupboard to grab those. So there's the top cover off. Drop that down to the side. And we're going to lift this out this whole section, something rattling around inside. Wouldn't it be nice if it was just a short somewhere? Right, so that's the casing off completely. Now what's this flying around inside here? You've got a little disc of metal that I think it looks like it's been a push-out panel from one of the... This is interesting. Where could this have come from? Where could this piece of plate metal... It doesn't even look like the same metal that's... What on earth is this? Yeah, I'm just gonna... Just for a laugh, I'm just gonna plug it in again and see if that fixed it. No. No, it doesn't fix it. Alright, so now we need the pliers to just get this shielding off and have a look what we're confronted with once we get inside. Somebody's had this apart before. Come on, come on. Alright, we've got a bit of purchase on one corner. That's it. Good God. That's it, it's off. I'll drop that down to the side and get the bottom off as well. So I'm glad we get a video signal at least, so that suggests to me that it's not Freddy that's dead. Freddy is this chip down here. This is quite a nice looking motherboard. Zoom in a little bit, why don't we? Oh. Alright, so here's the motherboard out of the case. What I'm going to quickly do is I'm just going to see if either of these RAM chips actually overheat when the machine is turned on. Probably won't be that lucky, but we can try. So we just have a look around the board. We've got the MMU here, which is a specific MMU to the XEGS. We've got the ROM, a masked ROM, which contains Missile Command Basic and the operating system, so that's 32K masked ROM. We've got, I think, Pokey, CPU, Freddy, and Antic, PIA, and GTIA. Yes, that's GTI down in the corner there. Yeah, so it's been switched on for a while. Things aren't really warming up yet. Alright, let's put a little bit of alcohol down in this corner here and see what happens. Alright, so I've got a little bit of alcohol on these RAM chips here in a sort of a hopeless attempt to try and see if either of them gets hot. And that bottom one is actually, it is starting to evaporate. You can't really see that on the camera. So what I think we should do is actually take that chip off the board. So I think if we just whack a couple of sockets underneath the RAM here and probably a socket under the CPU as well, that'll give us a bit of flexibility to try some different parts, and hopefully we will see the machine spring to life. So let's turn on all the noisy equipment here. I've killed that capacitor, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. We can replace that no problem whatsoever. Just a bypass cap, not a problem. Let's turn the desoldering gun on. In the meantime, we'll add a little bit of extra solder to these holes so we can clear them nice and easily. Actually, both those caps are done for. So we'll just add a little bit of solder there. Okay, now those stubborn ones, we're going to add a little bit more solder in there. I'm going to clear these while I'm about it. So I'm just going to work on those vias that have still got solder in them first, and then I'm going to do just the hoover job over the rest of them. See how easily that solder just jumps out. I'll just move it so you can see a bit better. There we go. I'll clear those ones while we're here. I'm going to go in from the back on a couple of these. It's a little bit stubborn. I'm actually going to try and use this because these they've all the Atari boards. These ones have actually got the highest thermal mass, certainly the 8-bits. My god, I had to fight so hard just to get the solder out of that bottom corner. Yes, so yes, these XEGS boards just sink a ridiculous amount of heat on the ground traces. So anyway, finally I'm just hoovering along there, get the excess off there. That's no problem, that's gone very nicely indeed. Have a quick look at the back. Back looks fine. A little bit of a clean up here and there. Clean that with alcohol, and I think what we'll do is we'll take the CPU off while we're here, just so we can save a bit of time. So as you can see, very a nice neat job there. But as I say, because I think there's a good 50-50 chance that it's actually the CPU that's dead, I'm going to take the CPU off as well. Now I'm not going to hot egg on the CPU off, certainly not. I'm going to add solder around the bottom of the chip, and I'm going to take it off with the desoldering pump, which would be slower but a lot safer. And then obviously I'm going to put sockets under everything, and hopefully we manage to find the fault. Because these are the RAM and the CPU, it's the most likely. I'll work on that one a little bit more. Anything else? Looks like it could do with some more work. So we'll just get rid of whatever we can here. Let's have the strongest possible chance of not pulling anything off the top side of the board when I come to wrestle the chip off. Normally I just pick these away with a screwdriver so you can hear them ping off the side of the via, but it seems to me that doing the same sort of thing with wick is obviously going to get rid of any residual solder, or help to do so anyway. Alright, so that looks reasonably clear, and it seems like it is. And it has, yes, and it's come off with no problems whatsoever. Absolutely nothing hanging off the chip. There's our processor off the board. So I'll just do the usual and add a bit of flux to that and give it a nice little clean up. And I'll just go along like this. There we go, and you can see the wick has pulled up all that excess solder. Okay, we'll have a look at the back as well. Very good, so let's clean that up. I'm going to double check those RAM traces as well. I just want to be sure that we've still got continuity where it's needed. Yes, that all looks fine. And we can get away without those decoupling caps for now. Got plenty of 20 pin. Ah, that fits. There's one. That's good, just need another one of those. Yes? Yes. I'll just do 2 corners. There we are. The other one, make sure they're both flat. That looks fine. Assuming we can get this working, I mean it's a good thing to have socketed RAM anyway. Just in case it dies in the future, if it hasn't already. Alright, that looks fine. Yes, that looks nice and level. I'm not trying to make this into a work of art. I guess the machine doesn't work yet. I just want something that works. Right, so there are our sockets in position. So, next thing, try and find some alternative chips to put in here. Have I got any spares box? I could just pinch some from a 600XL, I suppose. Alright, so I've got some known working RAM and some known working CPU. So I'm going to replace both, just see what happens. Plug it in, turn on, hope for the best. Here we go. And it works. Oh, wow. Went straight to missile command. Yes, you bastard. Oh, I'm so happy about that because I was not looking forward to this at all. Okay, so that doesn't really tell us what was wrong with the machine because we don't know whether it was the CPU or the RAM. Because of course I went belt and braces and took both off. So I'm going to take this CPU off that belongs to the 600XL and put the original CPU back, and we will eventually figure out what the offending part was. Oh god, this has made my day. Really made my day. I had an XEGS that was worse than this. It was stone dead. No video or anything. A couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and it was so disheartening because I put so much work into it and so much time and effort, and I never ever got it to work. And I didn't even get to keep it for spares. You bastard! Right, so let's try it with the old CPU in. And it doesn't work with the old CPU, so it's a CPU. So the RAM's fine. So now we'll put the spare CPU in with the old RAM, and we should find that we have a working machine. So there was really no need to replace the RAM, but I was right that it was going to be one or the other. Right, so let's put this RAM back in. This is the original RAM. Of course I'm going to have to cost up a CPU. RAM's not too bad. The price of RAM for these machines is so almost insignificant. You can certainly get a couple of these for a £5, no problem at all, on eBay. But a CPU now we're talking about 15-20 quid. So it's a little bit more of an expensive repair than just say a bad RAM chip. Okay, so this is the original RAM and the spare CPU. So let's try that. And it works. So the RAM was fine, CPU was bad. So now we just need a CPU that isn't the one that belongs in my 600XL. Replace those bypass caps I knocked off. But I mean, you couldn't want much better than that, could you? Sod's law, if I just replaced the CPU, or put a socket under the CPU, it was going to be the RAM. And if I socketed the RAM, it was going to be the CPU. Alright, so there we are, a fixed Atari XEGS that came in with a bad CPU, and for once in my life, the diagnosis was absolutely spot on. Now, on a machine like this, if you didn't have the blue screen, you didn't have a video signal, or it was just black. We start looking at Freddy. Freddy commonly fails. If the power supply just has to spike a little bit and Freddy's dead. Because I believe it's a CMOS part, as is the MMU. So the MMU and Freddy commonly die. And now and again, once in a blue moon, you get a bad crystal. But yeah, in this case, it was obviously that the machine was just crashing. It was trying to boot and it was crashing. So yeah, the way forward exists now for the owner of this machine. Add some new goodies inside of it. The video quality isn't great. I know the XEGS is supposed to have nice video at the box. So there's the self-test screen. It's not bad, but that's composite video, and composite video is never that hot. So I'll ask the owner if he wants maybe Chroma Luma video, perhaps. Of course, we need to put a new hole in the back of the case and all that sort of stuff. And if he wants Ultimate 1 MB in the machine, that's not going to be a problem either. That would be a recommended upgrade. Maybe he'd get a side 2 or a side 3, something along those lines. So the world is his oyster, really. There is no limit to what he can achieve now that he's got a working machine. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I don't know what you think of the new camera setup and the close-ups and all that. It's going to take me a while to get used to it. So there you have it, one repaired XEGS, which turned out to have a bad CPU, and I hedged my bets by putting sockets under the RAM and the CPU, replaced both at the same time, and immediately had a working machine. And then I just sort of backtracked a little bit to eliminate the faulty part. So that's what I would recommend you do as well, if you don't have a lot of sophisticated equipment to home in on the problem at high speed. And having socketed RAM is no bad thing anyway. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. So bye for now.